Okay, let's see if anybody is going to tune in on Zoom, and I will get started in about 1 minute. Today's topic is all about um, a nutrition hack. Hang on a second, I'm trying to find my notes. La 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 la. Okay. Eat what you love, but add more vegetables and fruits. I think a lot of times, we tend to get all discombobulated because we feel like we have to do everything perfect. And that I talk about that all the time. And I truly believe that if you are trying to be perfect in every area of your life, but especially when it comes to your health and wellness goals, truly, if you have such high expectations of yourself, you're really setting yourself up to fail. So, one of the things I think that people really struggle with when they go on quote unquote diets is the fact that they tell themselves in their heads, I can't have ice cream, I can't have a piece of chocolate. And if you're used to eating those kinds of foods and they are just built into what you currently do and you just go cold turkey, a couple things are going to happen. You're going to get a headache. You're going to feel really sluggish. It's almost like stopping drinking caffeine, coffee in the morning. That first week, you're like passing out. You're so tired. So, what you want to try to focus on to set yourself up for long term success is to get yourself out of that mindset that I can't have, or I'm not allowed to eat this, I'm not allowed to eat that. I kind of talked about last week your trigger foods. So, knowing what those foods are, I think is very important. But also, with regards to trying to tell yourself that you're never going to eat a piece of cake or you're never going to eat cheesecake, whatever it might be, that is your go-to on a normal basis. You're going to be better off figuring out how to work a little bit of that in, because what generally will happen is people backfire and then they don't have it for maybe a week or two, and then it's like, oh, I have a little taste, and it just sends you into this spiraling black hole where all you can do is think and focus on the things that you've told yourself that you can't have. So another way to kind of get around that whole mindset is to include foods that you love, but then add in more vegetables and fruits. One of the things that has become super popular today is coming from food manufacturer companies that market to us about all of these superfood powders, pills, shakes, and all these other supplements that are going to grab our attention. But if we really just try to include more fruits and vegetables into our nutrition plan on a daily basis, we may not even need to go to those superfoods. So I know greens are a big thing, and I was into taking them a while back, but I really do try to just build those things into my diet at this point. Yes, I do take supplements, and there are many instances when people are not getting enough zinc, for instance, vitamin D, magnesium, calcium. Those are just a couple to name a few, along with vitamin C, especially, depending on where we live. Certain geographic areas, we're depleted of certain vitamins and minerals. So that is something that, you do need to consider, but realize that adding fruits and vegetables into your nutrition can really help with making sure you get those vitamins and minerals. They can also help you overall with your caloric intake, as well as your cholesterol and your digestion. So fruits and vegetables, there's a book by, and I'm going to forget the guy's names, but it's basically a plant-based book. It's called How Not to Die. I know the guy is Michael. I sat on his in on a lecture he was giving one time at Penn State Great Valley, and basically he started looking into plant-based eating because he had a history of cancer in his family, cancer, and I think even heart issues. So he really dove into the aspects of how good fruits and vegetables are for you. And I would agree, you definitely want to try to eat as many fruits and vegetables as you can in your diet. But also, for me anyway, I enjoy to have animal and fish protein because they give me the essential amino acids that I need to maintain my muscle mass, and just feel better overall. Some folks are adverse to having any protein in a diet, and that a lot of times is more so because of the fact that they don't want to be eating animals or fish. So we grow vegetables, we can't grow animals. Well, actually, that's not true. They do grow animals these days. Anyway, fruits and vegetables truly are real superfoods. They're higher in fiber, which is going to help you stay satisfied. And as I mentioned earlier, they are also lower in calories. They don't have fat or sodium, and can help reduce the risk of diabetes, heart disease, and stroke. So the biggest thing I think with fruits and vegetables that trip people up is it can be a pain and annoying if you're not somebody that likes to meal prep or cook. So make it easy on yourself. A lot of times we will go to the grocery store, come home, just put everything away and deal with making our foods later on. But what you can do is just chop after you shop. So after you go grocery shopping, instead of putting everything in the refrigerator, just spend 15 to 30 minutes prepping your veggies and fruits before you even put them away. Get yourself some decent, I like glass Tupperware containers, just because I try not to use so many plastics. But you're going to be more than likely to eat food that's ready to go. Especially if you are on the go or in a hurry, or you really don't like to cook every meal. Having all that stuff available to you and ready to be eaten, or at least ready to be prepared, is a great way to just get yourself around that whole thought process of this is so taxing. I'm not a huge fan of frozen vegetables. Just my personal preference is fresh. But frozen vegetables are definitely also an option. But today, in today's grocery store, every store has pre-chopped vegetables and fruit. So you can go in, get mixed fruit. You can get, even like for making soups and stews, the carrots, celery, onion, what do they call that? It's a, Kristen, you were talking about it last week in the Facebook group. That's one of your hacks. But having that, and then even if you're not going to use it all at once, while you're there chopping up a whole thing of celery, just shove it all together and throw it in your freezer so that it's ready to go. Today, you'll even see those spiralized or rice veggies everywhere. They pretty much spiralize everything these days, from beets to sweet potatoes to zucchini, any kind of vegetable you can find in the produce section. And again, just like the minced onions and peppers and celery, they already have that already done. It's really not that much more expensive. So if your time is more valuable, then utilize those things. And again, just to mention that there are plenty of frozen options if you are okay. I would just recommend that you check the ingredients, even on the frozen things, because they can add sneaky sodium and oils, and even sometimes a sugar of some kind into those mixtures. So just read your labels. um, Anybody else coming in on Zoom land? All right. Um, Another tip would be just to go ahead and mix your fruits and vegetables into foods that you already are eating. For example, add fruit to your plain yogurt. I do that all the time. I actually just had tuna fish, and I kind of make my tuna with onion and celery and avocado and pickles. So you can put vegetables into things like that. You can also add to oatmeal, cottage cheese. You can add vegetables to your sandwiches, to eggs, to like a fried rice mixture, to soups, and other types of foods like that. So just trying to focus on adding in versus taking away again. Chili soup season, right? It's a great opportunity to add vegetables to your stock pot. Even if you're a lasagna person, you can make a vegetable lasagna. You can add up some chopped zucchini. If you're a pasta person, try using spaghetti squash with your chicken parmesan. Just different types of vegetables to work into your meals, and see if you can eat 3 to 5 servings of vegetables a day. If you're a pancake person, you can add pumpkin, you can add berries, bananas. Again, I think I mentioned eggs already, but add veggies into your omelet when you're having breakfast. And instead of maybe snacking on pretzels, you might want to try carrots and peppers with a little bit of hummus. But again, just to kind of recap, adding more fruits and vegetables into your diet, you're going to feel more full. You're going to also be able to eliminate some of your sweeter cravings. And if that's you and you like that sweetness, you can also try sweeter fruits like melons, pineapple, bananas, and they actually may help satisfy your sweet taste buds. But look at all of your meals and see where you can add both veggies and fruit. Experiment with different ways to cook both. You can also make a fairly low calorie dessert using fruit. I have a little recipe that I use using mashed bananas that are kind of old, the ones that you never know what to do with. And then I'll add either a coconut flour or an almond flour, a little bit of date syrup for a sweetener. And then I'll put some blueberries in there together. And then I stick it in my little air fryer. And I'll usually take a little bit of water and get that coconut flour or almond flour and make like little crumbles on the top of it before I pop it in the oven. If you love to cook your veggies in butter, just try using olive or coconut oil instead, and experiment with different ways to cook your vegetables. I think roasting your vegetables definitely takes or brings out the flavor of the vegetable more so than if you were to boil it or just toss it on the stove. So try roasting your veggies in the oven. And then different kinds of seasonings. There are plenty of companies out there that make these seasoning combinations that are fun to try. This time of year, there are definitely some amazing root vegetables. Try putting them all together and roasting them in your oven and see how that tastes for you. But just trying to get a variety of fruits and vegetables keeps everything a little new and fresh. And again, just experimenting with different ways to cook. When I'm in that mode and I'm not so much focused on single ingredient foods, I'll jump on the internet and I'll do a search on whatever vegetable I'm looking to cook. And then I will usually put in either paleo or Whole 30 because those types of recipes are not going to be generally full of fat or sugar, and I'll just try something new. So if you're kind of bored and you want to experiment a little bit, go ahead and check out Whole30 or Paleo options and just type in the vegetable you want to cook. So hopefully that helps. If you are out there in Facebook land and you have a question, or if you're out here on Zoom and you have a question, I'm just going to flip over to Facebook to see if any questions have popped up. Ah, yes, Kristen, that's it. Mirepoix. I guess that's how you say that. Thanks for tuning in on that. I don't see any questions. But really the moral of the story is just health-wise. Instead of thinking that you cannot have certain foods, think about what can I have to make what I'm eating more nutrient dense and nutritious. And we know fruits and vegetables have a lot of antioxidants in them, and they have their own superpowers. So give it a whirl. Let me know if you have any enjoyable recipes for fruits and vegetables that you would love to share. You can post them right below. And then if you are out here watching this live, give me a hashtag live. If you are watching this on the replay, give me a hashtag replay. And if there are no further questions, I'm going to end this Facebook Live on Facebook. And those of you that are joining me for our group call, you can come on into Zoom land whenever you are ready. So you guys have a great night. Hopefully that helps. And I will see you next week, if not sooner. Have a good night.